We just sat down with a man who went from ICU nurse to owning over 17 assisted living facilities with more than 230 beds, managing an asset portfolio valued over $20 million. He didn't come from money. He didn't start with investors, just grit, grind, and a whole lot of faith. His name? Serg Lupescu. If you're in business, real estate, or just trying to figure out how to turn struggle into strategy, this episode will punch you right in the chest and hand you the blueprint. This is straight to the point, so let's get into it. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Straight to the Point. I'm your co-host, Tristan Guerrero. We have on a special guest today. We have Serg. Serg, thanks for coming out today.
Yeah.
Pleasure for you making some time to squeeze into your packed schedule already.
Yeah, all good.
But cool. Now we're
Happy
here.
to be
We're
here.
in a courtyard, downtown San Diego.
Beautiful weather, dude.
Right?
Yeah, this is perfect. I'm from Arizona, so it's blazing hot out there. So
Nice.
something like this, I'd be sweating, drenched, but
Right.
it's perfect. So I love
Well, it's
it.
a pleasure to have you on Straight to the Point. Now, let's just get right into it, to the nitty gritty. Like,
Yeah.
How did you find out that real estate was your passion to get into the senior living space?
Yeah, man, it's a long story, but to make it short, real estate, everybody knows it's something that you can create generational wealth. And when I first started in senior living and with my first facility, I actually leased it. And so
Okay.
that allowed me to get into that business with little pocket out of money, right? Everybody knows the short-term rental, like rental arbitrage, Airbnb, things like that. That was essentially what I was doing, but with senior living, right? And assisted living homes. And I ran that. I started it in 2018, ran it for 4 years, and then I wanted it to continue to scale. And so when I went to go scale, I reached out to a broker. I was looking to lease another location. Because again, it's not costing me a ton of money to have to buy the real estate, et cetera. Real estate wasn't really something I could feasibly purchase at the time. And I didn't know what syndications were. I didn't know what raising capital from investors. I didn't know any of that. And so when I reached out, she put me in connection with my now partner where he was syndicating deals and he had just started syndicating deals in the space. And I was looking to actually create a franchise model out of this. And so I pitched 2 groups. They turned me down for various reasons. And I was like, well, what do I have to lose if I just pitch him too?
Right.
See if he would want to do it. And when I did, he was like, well, look, I'm syndicating these deals. We could just continue to purchase them, lease them out to operators. Essentially what you did with your first facility. You have the network, you have the people, you have the operational experience. I think it would just mesh really well. And dude, believe it or not, I had no idea what a syndication was. And I just said, sure, let's do it. Let's partner up. You know what I mean? And that's what it takes. You just have to go straight into it. And little by little, we went ahead and decided, let's do the syndication model. Let's lease them out to operators. I'll help operators on the operations side, make sure like they're running efficiently, making sure they're making their lease payments to us, things like that. And within the first month of partnering up, we ended up acquiring 3 facilities within the first month.
Wow.
And I knew we were onto something. And so I went ahead and continued to run my operations, but also scaling this side of the business out with him. And then at that point, we've scaled. We started that in 2021 and we now have 17 facilities.
Dang.
With syndicating and raising capital from investors. So that's just over $20 million of assets under management, $3 million plus of investor capital invested. So it's been quite the journey in 4 years, but anything is possible when you just grit it out, put the time in, show up every single day. Again, I didn't know what a syndication was when we started.
Right.
I learned along the way. And I think most people feel like they need to have it figured out. Dude, I was literally YouTubing it. And like, that's just what
people
it takes.
do nowadays.
And that was me, man. And I think for a lot of people, they should just take that as like, yeah, anything is possible if you truly want it. And it just made a lot of sense. I was like, well, shoot, I'll get a ton of equity as time goes. And that's exactly what's happened. So here we are today.
So not 1, not 2, but 3 in your first month.
Yes. It happened very quickly. Yeah.
What was your thought process in wanting to get into not just 1 or 2, but 3 in the first month and being able to go through that process?
Man, there wasn't much of a thought process there. It was just when you're in the trees, right? As they say, you're just grinding it out and you're not you can't have time to hesitate or have any doubt. You just have to have enough confidence and belief that it's going to work out. And the second you hesitate and the second you doubt is when you're going to convince yourself to not do it. Yeah. And because it was happening so quickly, I just didn't have time to sit there and process it. And when I did have time to process it is when, is this too big for my britches, essentially, right? Am I doing too much? I feel tapped out. I feel, but I was pushing my limits. I was very uncomfortable in a lot of different ways, but that allowed me to grow in ways that I couldn't explain now or even fathom
Wow.
because of putting myself in that situation. And most people do not want to put themselves in that situation.
Right, right. Now, when you explain that you got through a lot of uncomfort through that situation, but you didn't even think, you just acted right there and then. And a lot of people struggle to even do that. Like, how did you overcome that fear to go past that and be uncomfortable?
Yeah. As simple as it sounds, just do an action, dude. Just
Uh,
showing up every day, doing what is set in front of you to accomplish and do. That action will triumph any doubt or fear you have. So that's what I would tell a lot of people. Even if it doesn't feel like a lot when you're
uh,
taking action, it might just be a simple meeting, or it might be a simple couple emails or like phone calls that you're making, or, podcasts, whatever it is. That little action is just going to continue to add up, right? And that's what you're doing. You're stacking little wins time and time again. And then when you look back and you're like, wow, look how much I've just done in a month or 12 months or even 24 months, and then eventually
yeah,
years, you realize like, wow, anything is truly possible if you just set your mind to it.
yeah,
And so that's fear is in our heads. We're in our heads a lot of the times with fear.
right, right.
And so it's just, if you take action against that, it'll just fade away on its own in a lot of scenarios. And even in my case. So, cause there was a time where we took on a very big project. It was a hotel conversion we did into a facility. It was a
Dang.
$5 million project. At the time, it was our biggest acquisition. It was our biggest conversion. And I remember thinking after we toured it and we're driving back from the property, and I remember just even telling my business partner, I'm like, are we sure about this? Should we really be doing this, taking this kind of
Yeah,
risk on? This is a huge conversion, millions of dollars on the line. And I'm personally guaranteeing the loan, and you know what I mean?
yeah,
And
yeah,
I remember even after had done already, I don't know, at that time, multiple deals, I still was like, are we sure? But then we just went straight into action. We
yeah.
submitted our offer, got it accepted, and we took it day by day. That was supposed to take 12 months to complete, ended up being a
Mm,
18-month project from start to finish.
dang.
Overages, delays, permitting, all that stuff, and every week it was just like cutting your teeth, and it was just grueling.
Yeah.
And so that's what yeah, man, that's what I would tell a lot of people. It's just, if you keep taking action, dude, it's just a matter of time. Time will do its thing. And that's what I would say
Dang.
about fear, dude.
Yeah. Now, like, take us back to that first day when you decided to go into the senior living space. What motivated you to get into that and take that first step?
And there's a lot of things, but I would say the main thing was I was 22 years old when I started. I'm 29 now. So it's been only 7 years. It hasn't even been a
Yeah.
full decade.
Dang.
At 22, I was working in the ICU. So you weren't wrong about me working in the ICU. You had some information
Yeah.
about that, but I was working in the ICU while I was in nursing school. And during my time working there, I would work weekend night option. So I'd be there Friday, Saturday, Sunday nights, 12-hour shifts. Those are long shifts
Jeez. Yeah.
that you're spending with a lot of people.
Right.
And usually on the weekends and on nights, it was all the veteran nurses because they only had to work 3 nights out of the week. And that's when they got paid the most because they would get the differential for the night shift and because it was weekends. So they would get
Jeez.
2 differentials, which was a massive pay
Yeah.
for them only working those 3 nights. So I got to work with a lot of veteran nurses, 20, 30, 40 years of being a nurse. And so I got some really good wisdom and insight into what my future life would look like if I continued down this path. And I didn't want that. I didn't want the life that they all had.
Yeah.
And what kind of life did I want? And so by the end of nursing school, man, that was where I decided, well, how can I take my nursing degree that I just put in all this time and effort into getting
Yeah.
and start a business? And so the assisted living thing was just natural. It just made a lot of sense. I've already done what everybody's afraid of doing, right?
Right.
Changing the pens, taking care of residents and patients and seniors and et cetera. Like all this
Yeah.
stuff I was super comfortable doing. All I really needed to do was just pivot and learn the business side of everything, which that was a whole nother beast in itself. But
Right.
that's how it just naturally progressed to me getting into senior living.
Wow. And once you got into senior living, how did that look like? Was it anything you imagined it to be, or? Real quick, we're your hosts, Tristan Guerrero and Isaac Ramirez, and we run the West Coast Property Bros. We're full-time real estate agents, property managers, and loan originators based right here in Southern California. Whether you're looking to buy, sell, invest, manage your property, or get help with loan origination, or break down the real estate game, we got you. Or if you want some advice, let us know. Visit us at westcoastpropertybros.com or hit us up on Instagram at West Coast Property Bros and let us know how we can help you. Now, let's get straight back into the episode. Right when you got into it?
The business side, no. I didn't realize how cutthroat it was going to be.
Okay.
How people don't have the best intention in mind for you and when you're working and networking. So I really had to learn and like really had to earn my stripes and go through some really difficult seasons and situations. But that ultimately just led to me being a better operator at the end of it, and like just ultimately a better entrepreneur. I mean, I got scammed in the first 3 months, $20,000.
Wow.
It was all my startup capital for the most part. I almost got blacklisted from the industry out there because of bad advice that I took and implemented. Yeah. And I ended up having to move back into the facility, living out of my car just to make the business work.
Yeah.
And because I was running such a small facility, you know, the numbers, they weren't great by any means, but once I did stabilize it and really like made it efficient, I'm like, all right, I could live off of this and at least kind of get my bearings under me and get going and scale. But that took about 2.5 years to really figure that out. It wasn't like overnight. And even then, you know, I had to face different challenges and stuff. So yeah, that was kind of the whole process of getting into it and like really learning that side of it and becoming a true entrepreneur and not just, oh, this all sounds good in theory, but like truly like earning the stripes and putting in the time and the grueling effort to just get a business up and going.
And then you mentioned relationships is key, and you're not going to encounter maybe the brightest people that are working in your best interests. And we just had a podcast with Brian Coons just earlier, and he talked about number one thing that he would recommend or give advice for someone starting off in real estate is relationships.
Yes.
Have you ever encountered any bad relationships?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. More than relationships, even partnerships. Yeah, so it's one thing to have a relationship with someone and them being rude or, you know, not be a person of their word or like come through on a commitment that they made and you just cut ties and it's like, hey, just, you don't associate yourself anymore. But when it's a partnership and there's money on the table and there's contracts and there's a lot of things, I'll give you an example. $300,000 was taken from me last year, stolen. Wow. Initially, like stolen. And that's a lot of money. That's not money that just you sleep, you know, good about at night. Right. So that was from a bad partnership that, you know, went south. But I would say is relationships are key in a lot of situations. I have some of the best opportunities because of really great relationships. And there's trust there and there's a common goal and everybody's trying to help each other and collaborate. You know, a lot of the best scenarios and levels that happen in your life are going to be from those relationships. All this like that you see and hear and whatever I have been able to do at this point is not because I was anything special or that I built it on my own. It was all because of all the different individuals that have come into my life and have helped along the way and even currently, you know, and so that's what I would say about relationships. It's absolutely critical in order to be successful. And you can succeed, certainly. There's people who've succeeded by burning relationships, by screwing people over, and like from the outside, they look successful financially and monetarily, but they're miserable on the inside because they know nobody likes them, nobody wants to be around them, they're just miserable, right? And so those individuals, again, they didn't prioritize relationships and treat people the right way, and they always had it out for themselves. Like whatever they had to do to selfishly accomplish something, it didn't matter if it burned a relationship, screwed a person over, stole whatever for that. You know what I mean? So it could go, a lot of people, you just have to be very careful about what their intentions are about the relationship they want to have with you. Because not everybody's truly as good hearted as they make it out to be.
Yeah, totally. And you mentioned that person had stolen $300,000. Let's just throw it out there. $300,000 from you. How do you overcome something of like that caliber where you're losing thousands of dollars taken from you?
Yeah.
And how do you move on from that without having to dwell on that? Because I know a lot of people want everything to be planned, and if it doesn't go according to plan, a lot of people get stuck, stay stuck in the past. So how do you
It
overcome
was rough.
failure?
It was rough. That when it initially happened for a week straight, like I could not sleep. I was stressed out of my mind. I was like, what now? What are we doing? Obviously, we had to go through lawsuits and lawyers and all this craziness that eventually transpired afterwards. But it was very, very difficult mentally. To the point where like, I mean, dude, I gained like 20 pounds over like a period of like 2 months. I was stressed out of my mind. We had all these other things going on, fires to put out, all this stuff that was happening at the same time. And, there was a financial strain there because, you're expecting something and you have it earmarked and you're hoping, hey, this is what this is going to lead to. And, you're just kind of, it took a really, I mean, and then when we started the suit, I was like, okay, hopefully we could reach a settlement, which we did. But then some other stuff transpired after that and led to another suit. And then it felt like never ending at that point. But I'm a big man of faith. And so
Amen.
as I was going through this process, and a lot of it was out of my control at this point, and you had no idea how the outcome was going to be, I had to really dig in deep with my faith and really put everything just on the line and saying, God, I can't do anything else at this point. There's not much else I can do here. It's all with the attorneys. It's all with, depending on how that goes and what the courts decide and what this individual decides to do and, counter and this and that. And that's where my faith really helped more than anything. And so for me, as I go through these seasons and these periods of struggle, and I just put my faith in God more than anything because I realize how vulnerable I am, regardless of how much money you have or how many assets or how many properties you have, or relationships are great, but there's an extent to where they can't even help. Right.
Yeah.
And so that's where, like, whether people are believers or not, for me personally, that's been what's helped me kind of get over that. And I don't drink alcohol. I've never had a sip of alcohol in my life.
Wow.
That's something I don't condone in.
Yeah.
I don't care if people do it. That's not my place to judge them or not. But me personally, I don't partake in that stuff or drugs or anything of any vices in that sense. I'm not perfect by any means, but me not partaking in any of that when I could have easily done it and gave myself an excuse and a reason, I just go back to God and I say, look, just help me through this. Get me through this. Just give me one more day. Give me strength for one more day. And that's it. And day by day, little by little, things get better. And they do. They do. It's just a matter of how long you're just willing to get up every single day without giving up. And that's where failure is. It's when you give up. I had multiple chances and multiple reasons and excuses to give up along my journey. But because I didn't, it didn't lead to failure. And so all you can do is, from all the mistakes, those are just lessons. And as long as those are lessons I learned, even with that situation and other situations where, financially things were really tight and hard with people stealing and things like that. But again, you just get up every single day and just don't give up. The second you say you throw your hands up or throw in the towel, you've given up on yourself. And that's the biggest probably regret that anybody could probably have later on in life, to be honest, is the fact that, like, man, had I just probably gotten up one more day, made one more phone call, talked to one more person, even when you didn't feel like it. Because all it takes is it could just be one relationship away.
Yeah.
Could just be one phone call away. Could be one email away. Doesn't matter. Could be one more meetup away from the solution to be there for whatever you're going through. You know what I mean?
I know you're a big man of faith, like we were talking about a little earlier.
Yeah.
How does that guided you through all the ups and downs that you've experienced, and even through business, personal life?
It's everything. Without it, honestly, I don't know how people do it without like having faith in whether it's God or like in general, like something bigger than them. Because I truly believe we're here for a bigger purpose, each of us, and we have so much potential. So for me, it's been everything. I mean, it's been my guiding star whenever I felt like I needed direction, and it's been my foundation and my strength through everything, because at the end of the day, the way I look at it is like, look, only God and myself know what I personally am dealing with internally,
That's true.
mentally, and you can speak to therapists and you can go do all this stuff, and that's great, if that's something that helps them. But for me personally, it's just like, God, you know my situation. You have the solution to it. Whatever that solution is, whether it's through a person or a situation or whatever, bring it, provide it, and I'm going to continue to trust you through all of this. And that's been the solution to me personally with my faith and everything.
Yeah. And I noticed as of recently too that a lot of people in that Gen Z millennial area are starting to look for God and
Yeah.
faith as of recently coming out of, this past election, the past couple of years coming out of the pandemic, and they feel lost.
Yeah.
And I feel like, do you feel like faith has kind of had a more of an uprise as of recently
Oh
that
yeah.
you've seen?
Oh yeah. I mean, I think it's a beautiful thing to see. I think it gives people more purpose and like asking genuine, deeper questions than just surface level stuff,
Yeah.
right? And so that's what I've noticed recently too is just people truly seeking more than just the standard of what the world tells you is success.
Hmm.
And that's beautiful to see, because I think our generation, we're truly, the millennials and then the Gen Zers, like we're definitely more purpose driven in a lot of the things we're doing. We don't just want to like be mediocre and just follow the traditional path in a lot of ways. So I think
Yeah.
the fact that faith is playing a huge part in like people discovering different things and getting a better understanding. And I think the previous generations, they instilled not so much faith, but just traditions in a lot of ways. So the fact that a lot of people are just breaking the mold and are starting to like truly question what we were put here to do. And so not everybody was put here to just show up every day, work a 9 to 5,
Hmm.
and like there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But that's our generations have realized that's not the path for a lot of us. And I think that's opening up a lot of opportunities, especially now with social media, where people are able to like freely do what they genuinely want to pursue more than ever before. So I think
Yeah.
that's the
Which is
beautiful thing.
awesome.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the whole purpose of having this channel is to be able to motivate our generation to make that first step forward.
Yeah.
Why do we have to live in fear when you can just pursue your dream despite of what is to come, the unknown?
Yeah.
Everyone's afraid of what, the
What
uncomfort
ifs.
that comes with
Yeah.
not
And
taking that first
there's
step.
a ton of beauty in the unknown. That's what makes it so beautiful,
Yeah.
because I would tell you the journey that I've been on of being a business owner, an entrepreneur, and investor, and all the different scenarios that have happened in my life. There's not ever a dull moment. you know,
Right.
there's definitely been really big wins and things that I could say like, wow, that's actually really cool that that was
Yeah.
accomplished and like we were able to do that. And there's definitely been a lot of outcomes in my life, and there's still so much ahead. I'm only 29. I'm not 50, 60
Yeah.
years old talking about this stuff. Like there's just so much more out there that I have yet to experience that excites me, right? Because in the world of like real estate and even business ownership and entrepreneurship, you can go for as long as you want. You know what I mean? You could keep doing it until you're 70, 80 years old. It's all about just staying sharp in the mind. And so I know I don't know a lot, and that's, you have to come from a humble place of saying that. And I'm excited to continue to grow and learn from people like Rich and people that are at different levels than I am,
Yeah.
and to be able to know that that's feasible and that's possible, and what one man can do, another can as well. So to me, whatever limitations you set on yourself, you can't blame anybody for that. You have to
Yeah.
just look yourself in the mirror and put aside those limitations and know that it is feasible for you. It's just, you have to truly commit 150% to it. There's no one
Totally.
foot out, 1 foot in. You
Right.
have to like when I committed to getting into business, I literally committed everything. I could have went and easily gotten a nursing job while I was starting my business. And while things were really, really difficult, I could have just stepped away, given it up, and then went and got a job as a nurse, getting 25 to 35 bucks an hour, made a
Yeah.
decent salary, travel nurse, whatever. I could have done so many other things to comfortably, but I committed and I went
Yeah.
all in, burned all the ships. I didn't give myself any way to do that. And that's what it takes to just truly, truly succeed at anything, in my opinion, with the way the world is.
Yeah.
Because I believe business is the most competitive space, more than it is sports, more than it is any other thing that's out there. Business is the most competitive.
Yeah.
And you have to truly be at the best, in your best mindset, and physically, mentally, spiritually, even possible, to be able to like succeed
Yeah.
at the top tier echelon of, entrepreneurs.
Right. Now, how were you able to leverage faith into going through the ups and downs of your business, or even starting off?
Yeah. It wasn't even leveraging it. I would say a lot of it was just that belief and that confidence of like, God's got my back no matter what.
Uh-huh.
That's where I would say it's helped me the most, because when I was at times where I was living out of the car and, living at the facility and dealing with a lot of situations and, losing money and like whatever, I just would always repeat to myself, God, you've brought me this far. You're not
Mhm.
going to let me fail now. And every single time I would remind myself that, I would just have that like courage and strength to continue pushing forward, because I knew God was there to continue. Like my faith was there. That was the foundation of it. And so I would say that's, when it comes to that, that's what's helped me more than anything. I know it sounds very simple, but it truly has helped so much more than anything else. So yeah, I would say for most people, it's crazy, because what you'll see is there's truly a lot of people that succeed,
Yeah.
but again, like they don't need faith to help them. Maybe there's other things that help them.
Right.
And I don't know what those things are. I've never really discussed those with people. I mean, I personally don't know what helps them get through those periods of just hardship. Maybe there is some narcissistic traits there where it's
Right.
just like, I'm never going to fail,
Yeah.
and that could be the case. There could be some traits like that with people that just refuse to give up whatsoever. So I couldn't tell you what, I haven't ever asked people like, yeah, what helped you get through those hard times? Everybody deals with it differently.
Totally.
So that's
Dang.
what I would say.
So now, kind of looking at where you're at now in your business and you as a person, where where do you feel like you would tell someone just getting into the business? What piece of advice would you tell them to get into any part of real estate, whether it's maybe taking that first move, or maybe it is going into senior living?
Yeah.
What would you tell someone trying to figure it out and make that first step and leap?
Just take that first action, whether that's even reaching out to somebody that's an expert in the industry that you're in,
Mm,
whether if you have to pay them, if you have to like whatever, do that. Get around those people in some shape or form.
yeah.
Ask questions. Just be curious. Not everybody's going to be willing to share stuff with you, but as you're asking questions, take action. So if you get a piece of information, someone tells you, hey, go lease a property. Okay, what does that look like? How do I structure a lease? How do I negotiate that? What would I want to have? Right? Just be
Yeah.
curious. And as you're receiving stuff, take action on it. And to this day, that's what I do. If I'm pursuing something, I'm asking questions. Who do I reach out? Who do I talk to? And when I do reach out and talk to them, how can I provide them value?
Yeah.
How can I help them? And you'll come to find out, when you're providing other individuals value, and you're, being
Right.
willing, whether that's through money, whether that's you paying them or like hiring them for their service or their product, whatever that is, that's you providing value financially.
Yeah.
Now, if you can provide value through relationships, through connections, through different things, that's another way to provide it. Or even with your own time. Maybe there's something you can offer them. Maybe you go volunteer for their business. Maybe you go volunteer to shoot some content for it. Whatever it is. If you provide value to people, they'll be more than willing to provide that back to you. So I would say for a lot of people just trying to get started, get around those individuals, provide value, continue to ask questions, be curious,
Yeah.
and then take action. Don't just take a bunch of information and never do anything with it.
Yeah.
Those are success zombies is what I call them.
Totally.
Those are people who just take a bunch of information in, go to all the conferences, go to all the meetups, do all this stuff, but never take action.
Yeah.
And then they like to go around and be like, I know this person, that person, I went to this. I never went to a conference or like a meetup without a purpose or intention.
Right. I like that.
If I knew someone was going to be somewhere, for instance, with Rich Summers and I knew he hosted these meetups.
Mm-hmm.
My only true intention was to go provide value to him and meet him. That was the only thing I cared about.
Oh.
So when I showed up, I went, met him, talked to him, discussed it, exchanged numbers, and we started sharing information, value. Hey, let's shoot some content. Let's collaborate. By the way, you're raising capital. I'm raising capital, blah, blah, blah. Who do you know? Who do I know? How do we? And then little by little, we just, forged that relationship. But I went to that meetup not because it's beers and deals, or, like that. I didn't care for that. I went there with the sole purpose of meeting Rich. And that's just one example. Other examples are like, if I go to a conference and like I said, if I know people are there and there's information there that I want to like learn about, that's what I'm there for. I'm not there to just waste time and kick it out. Like, dude, I got too much stuff going on to be doing that kind of stuff.
Right.
So that in the beginning though, that's what you should be doing. Like you should be certainly doing that, but go there with true intention and to provide value.
Totally.
And most people will be like, well, what if I don't have anything to share or I don't have any value? Then keep your mouth closed, open your ears, and just listen. And then you'll learn a lot from that. Wow. You'll learn a lot. You don't need to always be the one talking or knowing. You should be the dumbest person in that room. If you're somebody in the very beginning, a lot of the times that's the types of rooms I like to go in, where I don't know anything and I'm just willing to observe, listen, and execute. Mm. And you'll learn a lot by doing that.
Dang. Now, knowing what you know now, would there be anything you would change until your younger self getting into senior living? Like, hey, you should be doing this.
Oof. I do have a lot. I do have a lot that I would probably advise. And that's why, obviously the YouTube channel that I have and everything, the community that I have with members that I help is to avoid all the pitfalls that I went through. A lot of it is always be conservative when it comes to running projections and putting your numbers together.
Yeah.
Don't just because you're hearing, oh, this person's making that much or these rates are this or, all these crazy numbers, always be conservative and always be willing to have a budget that, worst case scenario, it's going to cover that. Best case scenario, it's just there and it's available, but always be willing to not overshoot what you think you're going to do and understand that there's going to be delays. Always anticipate delays. Always anticipate that it's going to take longer than what you expected.
Yeah.
And then I would say just be patient. Like have aggressive patience. There's going to be times where you can't do anything, but when it's time for you to do something, go hard.
Okay.
You're going to submit applications, paperwork, etc. Once that's submitted, it's kind of out of your control.
Yeah.
And you just have to have patience there and be aggressive with that patience of like, all right, the second they send that email and it's approved, boom, go. Don't hesitate. Don't stop. Don't give yourself, if they give you 2 weeks to submit something, don't take 2 weeks to submit it. Submit it right away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that people they'll get given deadlines and they'll literally wait until the last second. And then they feel like the world's falling apart and they have so much going on.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, dude, just the second you can, just boom, that's aggressive, right? Be aggressive. And then when you need to be patient, and then continue to do that time and time again. For me, that was something I kind of learned over time, but I had to be like, okay, there's only so much I can do now. Now I just have to be patient. And it kind of drives you a little crazy because when you're, a personality of I just want to get things done. I can't, I hate being told to wait. It's kind of frustrating, but a lot of times it's like, look, you can't put the horse before the cart or the cart before the horse. You just have to sit there. And so that's what I would tell a lot of people. It's like, especially in this industry, there's things that get delayed, take a little time. And that's just in real estate too. You know, appraisals take 2 to 3 weeks. Well, you have to wait 2 to 3 weeks. There's no, you can maybe pay an extra to get it expedited an extra week, but like even then, that's 2 weeks.
Right.
In the meantime, what can you do in those 2 weeks to kind of keep moving the ball forward and, you know, moving the needle?
Totally. Now, would there be anything that you would change personally that you've done?
No, there's nothing I would personally change. I truly believe my journey is my journey. And although a lot of people, I truly don't have any regret whatsoever about my journey and the way that God has continued to mold me, and it continues to mold me even to this day. Personally, you know, now I have 2 beautiful kids. I'm married. Like, I have great businesses and, you know, a lot of different opportunities. I can't say I would change anything personally. You know, most people don't start figuring their life out until they hit their 30s. They're like, oh crap, I'm 30 and now I need to start figuring things out. I definitely feel like I've put in the reps and I continue to put the reps in.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I knew in the back of my mind what I wanted, and I wasn't going to stop, and I'm not going to stop until I get there. I know what that is for me. That doesn't mean it's for everybody. And it's okay to know that it's, you know, it's going to be a different thing than most people. There's one guy who I've now just found online. You know, they always say get in the rooms or, you know, pursue the people that
in the right
have
rooms.
have the lives that you want.
Yeah.
There's one individual who lives a life that I aspire now, and it's the same goal I've had in my mind since I started this whole journey.
Who is that?
Should I say his name? Yeah, I mean, should I say his name?
If you want to name drop.
Oh, let me think. I found him last night, as crazy as it sounds.
Oh, wow.
Just randomly. He popped up on my feed. Starts with an M. It's going to come. His last name's Hassan. Oh, he's got an interesting name. He's got a Hassan. His last name's Hassan. It's going to come to me. Okay. Don't let me forget. But what he ended up doing was having a big exit, and he's now retired at 35.
Dang.
And he's got 2 beautiful kids, you know, family. I went all in on like researching this guy. I'm like, what is this guy? Because the way it came up is he has these cars, right? He's a car enthusiast. Yeah. And so I'm like, what does he do? Who is he? And then as I'm like doing more research, I'm like, oh my gosh. Like that has been a goal of mine, is not to retire like officially, like I would never do business again.
Yeah.
But to pretty much have a 8-figure exit and be able to do at that point what they call FU money.
Yeah.
No one tells you where to be, how to be, what to be, none of that. And at 35, not that I'm putting a number, but to do that, right? I mean, he grinded it out all through his 20s, created these companies that he had 2 exits on, had a real estate. He had a boutique hotel out in St. Louis.
Wow.
That he sold. And just, his story is just so unique and cool, but the way his life has kind of transpired, that's what I want. I want to spend time with my kids. You know, they're 3 and 2 right now. At 35, they're going to be at an age where they're going to be able to travel a lot more and experience a lot more. And I don't want to be the type of parent that just eventually just all I did was work. All I did was care about making money, or, you know, I don't want my kids to ever have that impression on me. And everything we're doing is for them. And at least for what, in my scenario, like everything I do is to help them and to grow, you know, take care of the people I love and care about. And it's really cool to see someone like that prioritize family over just scaling to crazy amounts of money, right? And having $1 billion of net worth. And no, he was just like, yeah, I'm going to exit. I got an 8-figure exit. I'm going to take a step back, that's exactly what I want to do. Build a custom dream home with my wife. That's what he's doing. Yeah. It's so like peaceful to me to hear, like, see that, because I feel like entrepreneurship, it's all about grind, 24/7.
Right.
And that there is a season and a period for that. Absolutely. But for me, in the back of my mind, I'm like, I do want to reach a point where I get to just enjoy the fruits of your labor. And I don't
Right.
want to be 80 years old to enjoy that. I will continue, and he does too. He continues to invest and continues to, and he says that. Dang, I want to think of his first name. I can't, for some reason it's slipping my mind right now. It's not Mason. It's something with an M. I'll find it. It's not Mitchell. It's coming to me. It's slowly
Wait.
coming to me.
Yeah, it's coming.
But a life like that is something that's what I'm striving for. And at 35, the reason why 35 is such a cool like number is because you've now established family for the most part. If you grind it through your 20s and
Right.
you've given it your all in your 20s, 35 is just a good age where you're just able to enjoy life, still be young enough and healthy enough. And even 45, 55, you're still very young at those ages,
Yeah.
but for everybody that's different, whatever that looks like in their lives, but to me, if you're going to really commit to this game, it's long term. Like I said in the beginning, or earlier, it's the beautiful thing about this game is longevity.
Yeah.
You could play it long term as much as you want. You can continue to grow crazy portfolios, crazy businesses, have cool exits, and do it all over again as much as you want to.
Yeah.
And with each opportunity, it's like you get to just step back. All right, well, yeah, if I want to have a great exit, I can, and then you redo it again if you choose to. If you
Yeah.
choose not to, you just go park your money in an index fund and get paid 8% and chill and live your life.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm sure like driven people, ambitious people, they'll find something to go do again.
Totally.
And so for me, it's everybody's got a different goal in mind. If you want to go create the craziest like brand in the world and world dominance, sure. Like for instance, the dude that sold MySpace, I can't think of his name right now.
Yeah.
Dude, he sold MySpace and then he went and just is doing photography.
Dang.
He's chilling.
Yeah.
Like the guy could care less to go start another tech company. But there's a lot of scenarios like that. Even
Yeah.
Jay Casson from Movement Watches.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have ever followed him or seen his journey, but like I think he had an 8-figure exit with that
Wow.
company, and he lives actually out here in San Diego.
Dang.
And he's all in on like content. He's just enjoying YouTube and making cool videos, and you know what I mean. And
Dang.
that's kind of what he's 30 something. He doesn't have a family and kids, but like I love seeing success stories like that where Max Chuning from Sour Strips. I don't know if you guys have heard of him, but like even him, he had his exit, sold I think it to Hershey's,
Dang.
and now he's building a dream house. He's got a kid, like and he's 30 something.
Yeah.
Like seeing those types of things inspire me because I'm like, yeah, that's what it should be all about too. It shouldn't just always be about how can I grow the craziest, biggest thing ever in the world.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that, but that's my goal with it all is like be able to create that lifestyle where you don't have to be forced to go do anything you don't want to,
Right.
so, and everybody does. All these people, they started all with the same, probably with the goal of making a ton of money. And then slowly but surely realize like, okay, I've grown something now. What does that next phase of my life look like?
Mm.
Am I truly like, yeah, I built this great business, and I talk to a lot of different people who they exit and then they're like, they take a couple years or months or whatever, and then they go back into doing something more meaningful for them
Yeah.
and more purposeful. So yeah,
I
man,
like that.
that's what I would
Man,
say. Yeah.
you're spinning straight facts here today, Serge. I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think just the entrepreneur world's crazy because everybody's wanting to just, how much money can I make? Which there's nothing wrong with that. I think
Right.
like I said, there's a bigger purpose here
Totally. I agree with you
for
on
all
that.
of us.
Yeah.
And so it's like making the money is great and it's absolutely a necessity. And doing all of it and making impact and creating value for people is massive. But it's like you got to look beyond yourself too, of like There's more to life than just that.
Yeah.
And so I'm figuring it out just like most people.
Right.
That's just stuff those are thoughts I have on my, when I'm sitting there at night and just pondering on things. And those are the type of thoughts I have. It's just like, it's got to be more than just this.
Right.
Like this grind, this hustle, there's just got to be more to it. Like it can't just all be for nothing.
Right.
So,
Well, Serge, I appreciate you
of
coming on the
course,
show,
brother,
man.
you guys have been awesome, man.
Yeah.
And
And where can the audience find you?
on YouTube, Serg Lupescu.
Okay.
My YouTube is strictly focused on like assisted living business stuff. So it covers all of that. So I know we didn't really touch on the business side of it, but that's perfectly fine. Everybody could go watch those videos.
Yeah.
There's 400 something videos on there. You can follow me on Instagram at serg.lupescu. I post content on there all about assisted living. I don't post much lifestyle stuff or
Yeah.
financial advice or things like that. I think there's plenty of that to go around online
Right.
nowadays. So I'm like, I don't need to show all that. And I am more of a private person and when it comes to that type of stuff. But
Right.
again, that's where people could go learn about all the business stuff that I do. And if they want to know about assisted living and senior care, man, that's where they can go follow.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you coming on
Of
the
course,
show,
man.
Serge.
My
And
pleasure.
to you guys watching, I appreciate you guys watching. Go
Yeah.
hit like, subscribe, follow the channel for more videos coming out. And hope you guys stay tuned for the next one. Peace
Let's
out, guys.
go.